It's time to be bold. Phillies baseball, by the way, starts in 2 days. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's starting before April for the first time that I can remember. Kyle Gaffner and Tony Del Grasso are both here. We're going to get into some Phillies baseball. We're going to preview the season right now. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on? I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Great time of year, boys. Great time of year.
Oh, yeah. So we got Tony again without his face. Thank God. Don't have to see that hit.
Working on it.
All right, so we're going to get into this right away, and we're going to work this show a little bit backwards, all right? So normally we get to predictions at the end of the show. Well, this time we're going to do it in the beginning. So we're going to be bold. We're going to do things different, just like Gabe Kapler is going to be doing this season. So the over-under for the amount of wins for the Phillies is set at 76. That's what Vegas is saying. I think they're going to go more than that. What do you guys think? How many wins?
I'm thinking 86 and 76. I think they're going to be 10 above. So I'll go 86 wins.
Okay. And what's your reasoning behind that?
Just because of the I don't want to say death, but with the vet that we picked up with Arrieta, I think that was huge for our pitching staff. And it's just another year under these young Bucks' belt. I think JP's finally up here for a full year, and then signing – little Kingery up there, I think it's going to add a real spark to this team. It's time to take that next step, and I think these young pups are really going to surprise a lot of people.
All right, so we should start going over our answers before this, because I actually had the same exact prediction, 86 wins. Before the Arrieta and Kingery well, I guess you can't really call Kingery an addition, but he's kind of an addition. But before that, I had him at 82. Yeah. And I think the Arrieta signing gives him a couple more wins. And I think having Kingery, he was going to be up at the end of April anyway. Right. But I think just kind of that extra jolt that signing him long-term, which allowed him to open the season on the opening day roster. I think it just kind of gives that extra jolt. That, once they signed Arrieta, the players knew they were going for it this year. But now they really know that they've turned a corner and they actually think they could win. So, that will give them an extra couple wins too. So that's why basically my prediction bumped from 82 to 86.
Okay.
Which definitely puts them in wild card contention.
I should have gone first because I'm going to sound like a Debbie Downer going with 84 wins. But it's not really a Debbie Downer. I almost consider if they go over 500, I consider that a success, considering where they've been the last couple of years. I think they're a year away from really making some noise. This year is a little bit unpredictable. I have no idea what to expect. They can go out and win 90 games. Who knows? Or they can be a complete bust. We really don't know what we're going to expect from Gabe Kapler and all these different things that he's going to do. So 84 to me seems kind of a safe prediction. So it's I'm not being bold with it. But 84 wins, I do think they'll kind of contend. They'll be hanging around the playoff picture, the wild card picture, but maybe kind of faltering at the end. We'll see how it goes. But they're definitely moving in the right direction. I like Gabe Kapler and the things that he's going to be doing. I think it's a solid lineup. I like Arrieta and Noel at the top of the rotation. So, so there we go. Those are our predictions. We're doing things from reverse. And our next question is this. All right. So in order to make a postseason run, you're going to have some X factors, some wild cards, some players that, are going to have to play higher than they're supposed to be, than they're capable of. So the question is, who are the wild cards? We'll just go one at a time for now, and we'll kind of just go. So who's your wild card, Kyle? Who's going to be the key to success?
I think we have to have big production out of Jorge Alfaro, not only with the bat, but calling games, being in the back of the plate, defensively, being able to, throw runners out, but just managing this pitching staff, because that was a huge question mark. We know what he can do with the bat from time to time. He's still a little raw there. He's still really aggressive, what I saw down in spring training, but he's worked on a little bit. But I think that's a huge key with our success is going to be managing this pitching staff because, as you know, if you let up 5 runs are not going to be able to come back too much. We've struggled a little bit with getting runs across the plate ever since we had the Ryan Howards, the Utleys, the Jimmy Rollins. We were putting up perfect numbers. But he's going to be my X factor for this year, managing this pitching staff.
All right. By the way, we're going to have more than like one answer. So we'll go around the horn again. Just pick your number one guy, and then we can kind of keep
I'm sorry. You didn't want me to – oh, my bad.
Oh, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. I didn't really clarify it, so that's my fault. Tony, what you got?
All right, so my guy will be Vince Velasquez. Phillies fans have been, kind of waiting on him to have that breakout for a couple years now. He came over in the Cole Hamels deal from Texas a few years ago. The guy has, they always talk about it, great stuff. He has a great fastball. He has a good off-speed pitches. I think that his future might not necessarily be in the rotation, but I think with a manager like Kapler, they might be able to utilize him in kind of like a bullpen role where not kind of like a bullpen role, but a bullpen role where he's used in multiple innings at a time, 2 or 3 innings. And he might still end up pitching 90 or 100 innings over the course of the year. But I could see Velasquez, maybe struggling out of the gate at first, starting, and then eventually they make that move and put him in the pen, and he actually becomes a really helpful piece.
Okay.
Just kind of my things going to happen there.
When I did a X Factors video for the Eagles prior to the season, my number one guy was actually Carson Wentz, because even though you might not think of that initially as being an X Factor, my thing was, well, if they're going to make the postseason, it's because Carson Wentz is going to play like an MVP. And guess what happened? He played like an MVP. So my guy, my wild card is Rhys Hoskins. And if he comes out and he plays like an MVP candidate, he comes out, he plays like Ryan Howard or Paul Goldschmidt, puts up like 40 to 50 homers. I think that is what can put the Phillies over the top. Not only helping the Eagles, not only helping the Phillies bringing runs and hit homers, you're also helping your entire lineup. So Paul Goldschmidt is my guy. You guys got any other guys?
I think also J.P. Crawford.
I said Paul Goldschmidt. I meant Ray Hoskins.
You did. We knew what you meant.
I caught myself.
Yeah.
They're so similar.
Hey, if he could turn into a Paul Goldschmidt, that would be icing on the cake right there. But another position now that Freddie Galvis has cleared a spot, I think J.P. Crawford is going to have some big production out of here. We need to see this kid really need to take the next step. He's great defensively. We've huge shoes to fill with Jimmy Rollins departing a few years back. He's supposed to be the next up-and-coming. He was when he was drafted, but the kid's got to be able to get on base. And he struggled a lot with that. Even in AAA, he really, really struggled. Getting feedback here. Correct. I'm echoing. But I think we're going to need to see a lot of production out of him, because right now I think they have him batting in the 6th or 7th spot. But don't be surprised to see Kingery playing a lot of short too.
Yeah, I couldn't really get what Kyle was saying there. Were you talking about Crawford?
Yeah. Sorry, there was feedback.
Oh, all good. Yes, I think Crawford's an important guy too. I think he showed the ability to get on base over the minor leagues, and I think that's going to be his calling card. But otherwise, offensively, he still has a lot of developing to do. I think he's going to be great defensively, but in his first couple of years in the big leagues, I do think they're going to have him batting, in the bottom of the order. My other X factor is basically going to be whoever the Phillies end up trading for at some point. And I think all three of us agree that they're going to make another significant trade at some point, sometime before the trade deadline, and it's going to involve Cesar Hernandez, one of the outfielders, probably Williams or Herrera, and they're going to end up trading for a pitcher. So that's kind of my X factor. I think there's a decent chance it ends up being Chris Archer from Tampa Bay. There's also a chance that Cole Hamels comes back too. They wouldn't have to give up nearly as much. I don't know how I feel about that, because Cole Hamels isn't nearly the pitcher he used to be, but an interesting idea.
Yeah. I got Michael Franco. Can he get back to what he was doing his rookie season? That's what everybody was kind of hailing him, calling him the next big thing in the Phillies organization. Obviously, the last 2 years has been a little bit more of a struggle. So that 2015 season, in 335 plate appearances, 80 games in all. So he hits 280, 343 on base, 840 OPS. And you look how far he's fallen from there. I mean, 230 batting average last year, 281 on base percentage, and only a 690 OPS. So obviously those numbers have gone down. If he can get back to what he was his rookie year and kind of provide more consistency and another punch in the lineup, I think he will know about it. So we'll go around the horn. You got any more?
Sorry, it was kind of hard to hear you. The audio was messing up. But I do agree with Tony trying to trade. We have so many outfield prospects. I think it would behoove the Phillies to really still make another acquisition, even though we got Arrieta and all at the top. It would still be nice to have another solid pitcher because if you look at the real back end, you've got Pivetta, you've got Lively, Eflin, Jake Thompsons. These guys aren't really – world beaters or anything. They don't really jump off the page at you. So if we could acquire Chris Archer, I think we should try to trade Dylan Cousins while the iron's still hot on him. I just have a big feeling this kid isn't really going to produce or be anything special. So I would try to, work him in with a trade to try to get another starting pitcher or even something in the back end. We can't have all of them out there. You've got Mickey Williams, got El Torito, Adam Hazley, Mickey Moniak, Cornelius Williams, like all these guys that we're not going to be able to play. And it seems like Gabe wants to go in the direction of having more bullpen help than actually bench players. And don't forget about Raymond Quinn either. So I still think Tony is right about trying to trade these guys to get another acquisition in the starting rotation. Just because you look at the rotation now, it kind of worries me a little bit. Is it going to be strong enough? And especially with an inexperience of Alfaro, too. I think that's going to be exposed early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, just as the team is right now, the pitching isn't good enough, just plain and simple. It's not. It's definitely improved, but they do need a couple other arms. Definitely starting, and like I said, I think once we start to see things shake out, I think a couple of the guys that are in the rotation now will end up in the bullpen, like I was talking about with Velasquez was. But I also think the same thing might happen with Pivetta, and then all of a sudden, the bullpen, if those guys could produce in the bullpen, all of a sudden you're looking at a pretty good bullpen too. But I am still very high on Thomas Eshelman, so he'll be my third guy, my third X factor. I'm not sure when he's going to be called up, but I do think it'll be sometime in the first half. Maybe it's May, maybe it's June. And I think Eshelman is going to be a guy that's going to be in the rotation a long time. He might not ever be better than a 3 or a 4, but I think he's going to be a damn good 3 or a 4. So, to me, his upside is someone like Kyle Hendricks, like I mentioned on here before for the Cubs. So yeah. My bet would probably be he's probably the first starter to be called up this year. So really have no idea when it'll be. It could be as early as the end of April, but I think definitely before the All-Star break.
I think it depends really, Tony, on how well he does down in AAA. And if he did what he did last year, he might be up as early as the end of April, really, because he struggled down in spring training this year mightily.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we're going to see him sooner rather than later.
And look out for Pivetta because that kid's got some stuff. So I really think he has a really high ceiling. He's got nasty stuff. It's just consistency with him, but he's got some really nasty stuff.
It's like control. Yeah, that's the same thing with Velasquez. He just needs to maintain control.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think him and Velasquez both could end up being monsters in the bullpen because you look at some of the really good elite bullpens in the major leagues, and they all have guys like that could stretch and go 2-3 innings at a time when need be.
Mm-hmm.
So those could be really valuable pieces that pitch, say 100 innings a year for you.
All right, so my last X factor / wild card kind of like the same thought process with Rhys Hoskins. So it's kind of a duo. I got the duo of Arrieta and Nola. And here's why I say this. Because the rotation, you don't know what you're going to get from your 3, 4, 5. If you can consistently rack up W's each and every time Aaron Nola and Jake Arrieta get the ball, then all of a sudden you're number 3, you're number 4, you're number 5. If you can just get one win out of the 3, you're going 3-2 every 5 days. And 3-2 every 5 days, you start piling that up, you're going to have a winning record, a solid record by the end of the season. So with Aaron Nola, can he be like the guy that we saw during the summer when he had that dominant stretch? And I don't know if you guys know this, but he was 3rd in the National League in ultra quality starts. Ultra quality starts, 7 innings or more with 2 or few earned runs. So 12 of those, Clayton Kershaw had 16, Max Scherzer had 14, and number 3 was Aaron Nola. And then with Arrieta, are we going to get the 2.5 ERA Jake Arrieta, or are we going to get somebody that's going to be like in the 3.75 range, in the 4 range? Strikeout rate hasn't been as high, allowing a little bit more home runs. So can he get back to that form, or are we going to see the Arrieta that we saw from last season? So kind of a duo there. What do you guys think about that?
I like that, and I think Arrieta was a big gamble, hence the contract, what he got. We don't know what we're going to get out of Arrieta. You know, if he does turn out to be a guy from 2015, where he had an unbelievable ERA, then we got him for a steal. If not, we're really not hurting ourselves by giving him that long contract with all that money. So I thought it was a perfect situation of what we paid him. But it's all longevity with Nola. He looks unbelievable down in spring training. The kid was mowing him down. He amped up his power on his fastball. And you know he's filthy stuff with the slow pitches. With his curve, is bar none his best pitch. I mean, it just looked unhittable at times. He could definitely be a true number 1, though, if he can just hold up, if the injuries don't plague him throughout his career. But he looked really strong last summer and in spring training. I think the kid's going to have a good year. Watch out for him to win a Cy Young, I think, this year. Yep, I said it. Cy Young. 20-game winner.
Wow.
Yep. What I saw down in spring training, guys, I really think he could be in possible talks for Cy. Bold prediction.
Well, I think the sky's the limit with Aaron Nola, which, if you think about it, means he's already kind of exceeded expectations. When the Phillies drafted him, the consensus was pretty much, he's like a number 3 type guy, maybe number 2 at best. Mm-hmm. Well, he proved last year he has the ability to definitely be a number 1 type guy. He has unbelievable command, unbelievable movement on his pitches. And like you just mentioned, Kyle, he's actually increased velocity on his fastball, which is important because that's really the only aspect of his arsenal right now that isn't like elite at this point. So if he's able to gain velocity on his fastball, and he's even shown without that he could dominate hitters. Yeah, he's with his age, he's only going to get better. On to Arrieta, I would say it's going to be somewhere in between what we saw in 2015 compared to what we saw last year. He's not the elite type 5 type guy, elite top 5 type starter that he was a couple years ago, but I think, you're saying ERA prediction. I would say it's probably somewhere between 3 and 3.5, which is still pretty good. Bottom line is he's a hell of a lot better than any other starter the Phillies have right now. So definitely gives him a big boost. But I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed about Arrieta when we look at his stats at the end of the year.
Yeah, says free meeting will end in 10 minutes. So what the hell is this bullshit?
We were just talking about that too.
We haven't had this problem for a month, and now all of a sudden I'm getting it. All right, well, we'll see if we can finish this in 10 minutes. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, it's 9:07 right now. So
I'll keep you updated. I got the time clock right here. So 9:37.
Oh, so annoying. Okay. All right, well, let's stay with the rotation. And because we haven't really talked about Eichhoff yet. He's got a strained right lat. So I guess my question is, out of Eichhoff, Velasquez, Pivetta, who's going to be the best out of those 3?
I think it's got to be Pivetta, just with his ability to throw his fastball because it's up around 97, 98 miles an hour, and then he can finish it up with a slider, kind of like Brad Lidge had. I just think this kid's got, some filthy stuff, and he's working on a change too. But when you were able to throw the baseball like close to 100 miles an hour as a power pitch, you can pretty much dominate a batter. It just because it slows up, it speeds up their eyes, and then when you throw that slow stuff, it just throws them off. And I know Velasquez has that same stuff, but he's so inconsistent. A lot of times when he throws the ball, it just looks like he's overthrowing it. When he misses one pitch, he goes right back to his fastball, and he just tries to throw it as hard as he can, and that's why his control issue, elevates, and it just has a lot of problems. And Pivetta doesn't have that same issue.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Yeah, out of Eichhoff, Velasquez, Pivetta, who's going to be the best out of that threesome?
Yeah, that's tough. To me, it's kind of Pivetta and Velasquez have the most upsides. I'm going to go with Velasquez still. I'm still a believer in him. And like I said before, I think his time in the bullpen is going to come at some point this year. And I think he'll really blossom out of that role.
Yeah,
I don't think he's nothing more than I just think he's nothing more than a bullpen arm at this point. Velasquez, I mean.
Yeah, but I think he could be a really a unique bullpen arm. Like I don't know. I see him as a guy who could come in the 6th, 7th inning and strike out 5 of the 6 batters he's faced. I don't know. I just
like a long man. Like a long man.
Yeah,
right?
but like a long man that's used in the pressure situations, not just a long man who's used to just mop up when the starter only goes 4 innings.
Okay. Interesting. So you think
like a Chad Green type or somebody like that? Like I'm talking like an elite reliever type of guy.
Mm-hmm. And like a Wade Davis almost?
Yeah, almost. Like
interesting.
Yeah.
This is going to be a team where they're going bold. They're going to try new things. Maybe the guy. Well, since he can't get past 5 innings as a starter, maybe you have him go 3 or 4 as a reliever. That's the way you kind of work them. So
yeah.
All right, let's get to the lineup. I got 6 minutes and 45 seconds. This thing's bullshit. All right, 1 through 8. I know we were talking pre-show. Tony was talking about it. 1 through 8. It's a pretty darn good lineup. So get into that, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, and like you said, the 1 through 8 is pretty darn good to me. The 1 through 8, there's really only at least 6 of them are legitimate major league threats. 2 guys right now, J.P. Crawford and Jorge Alfaro. While I'm still 100% big-time believer in J.P., and I think he'll eventually be great, I just think his offense is still, another year away maybe, and same thing with Alfaro. But those other 6 guys, I mean, could really do some damage. They all get on base. Just about all of them hit for power. There's some speed mixed in there. I think the Phillies are going to score a lot of runs. I really do. And Kapler's going to have those guys shuffling around different positions, different spots in the lineup. So it's going to be fun to watch.
And he's constantly juggling stuff. Even, mid-pitcher, he's always going out there and switching the outfielders. I mean, this guy is full analytics 2 and 2. But you're right. And even though there's 2 weaknesses on the lineup are J.P. Crawford and Jorge Alfaro, they're still better than having, like, Freddie Galvis out there and Cameron Rupp, who we recently just sent off packing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, totally. I totally agree.
But, even if, let's say, Hernandez is struggling at 2, I still think Alfaro could bat at 2. Nicky Williams can go bat at 2. Like, this lineup is so versatile. I think they're going to score a lot of runs too. And you also have power with Alfier, Reese Hoskins, what's his face, and Alfaro's got some pop if he can make connections. And let's not forget about Andrew Knapp too, who could play a little first, a little catching too. That kid's bat. I think he'll be a really good bench player and might even take over for Alfaro if he struggles early off in the season.
All right, just a quick question here. Don't give a lot of thought on it, so just kind of answer it. How many home runs has Reese Hoskins hit this year?
I got to say he's going to get maybe 22.
Oh, wow.
What?
I thought you got go
What?
more than that.
In
I
the
think
first
he's gonna-
half?
I think he's going to struggle. I think he's going to struggle this year.
Okay.
I really do.
Oh, man. Well, all right, I'll say it now. I think he's going to hit 42. And I think okay, so you kind of touched on it earlier, Adrian, but I think he's going to be in the top 3 for NL MVP. I think he's going to have a monster year.
Wow.
All right.
Do you remember when Ryan Howard came up in his first year, or no, actually his second really full year, he won the MVP?
Yep.
I feel like it's, in his first year he won Rookie of the Year. I think he's just going to just tear the league up.
Okay. That's that. You know what? We're going to do another show. You know what? Maybe. You know what? Right after this, we got 3 minutes left. Maybe we'll do 2 shows tonight, and we'll continue this Rhys Hoskins discussion because this is good. I think you guys should get in the ring. Should do a little debate here. I got in the middle. I got like 35. I think 35 is a good number and a target for Rhys Hoskins. That's going to be a good discussion. To go back and forth on that. Unfortunately, we don't have the time right now to do this. So this is, by the way, if you guys don't know, Zoom, for whatever reason, we've been fine for the last month, but it like restrains you. You only get 30 minutes with this. So, all right. I guess we'll do like kind of closing thoughts and what are you kind of looking forward to this year?
Good, Tony.
Just be bold.
Yes.
I mean, what else can you say?
Yes.
I'm excited for every night or every other night. Kapler's going to do something that is just going to be a little strange, maybe a little eyebrow raising. I'm excited because I think it's mostly going to be good things. So I'm just excited. There's young talent everywhere. They're going to make moves. Good things are coming.
Well, I'm a little spoiled. I got to see everything firsthand a little while ago. So I saw what Gabe Kapler's going to do. I'm very excited. I loved every move that he did when I was down there. So I got a little taste of the season before it actually gets here. And I love what this guy was doing. This guy thinks outside the box. You might think it's strange or whatever. It's different than what we're used to with Charlie Manuel, the Ryan Sandbergs, and what have you. It's just different. It's a new way of thinking. This guy literally eats, sleeps, breathes baseball. He knows what he's doing, and that's why I think the Phillies are going to be in a wild card contention this year.
All right. So we're going to end it right now. That's Kyle Gaffner, Tony Del Grasso. We're going to come right back. We're going to start another discussion of Rhys Hoskins. We'll do that. I am Adrian Fecchio. We're out. This is our season preview. Peace.
Doses.